I've got to tell you, it's one of the most amazing days to be cooking like this outdoors. There's a nice breeze blowing here in the Hanu. I'm standing in the shade of these lovely coconut trees and I am in the mood to cook you guys something really special. The recipe I'm going to do for you guys today is a typical Warli tribal mutton curry. The first thing we need to do is marinate our mutton. Okay, so I've got my mutton here, which I've cleaned and trimmed off all the extra fat. Into our mutton, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of refined oil, 1 chammach haldi or turmeric, a generous teaspoon of salt and red chili powder. So I'm going to now begin to marinate it. Have a look at that. I'm just going to put that aside and cover it like so. We're now going to get down to the second part of our recipe. My trusty. So the first thing we need to do is grind up all our dry masalas and make it hot and fiery. So heat up your pan, and into that pan I'm just going to chuck about 3 brown cardamoms, a teaspoon of cumin, zira, 1 chammach dhania, beej, and then for the real heat, we've got a heaped teaspoon of pepper. Cloves. Now, I'm going to be a bit careful with the cloves. I've just put in about 5 to 6 cloves. Aha! Okay, अब हम अपने मसाले को अपने मोटर और पेसल में डाल देंगे. Warli garam masala, it's now ready. हम इस मसाले को इस कटोरी में डालेंगे और हम इसे यहाँ रख देंगे. Now for our second masala of this recipe, and that is a very simple, very flavoursome and fresh hara masala. Okay, chop, chop, chop. So a handful of fresh green coriander and then 6 hot green chilies. Garlic, about 8 or 9. Now into this some ginger and add a little bit of salt. Okay, last but not the least, just a little bit of oil. Okay, both of our masalas are done. Our mutton marinated. It's now time for us to cook our Warli style mutton curry. Okay, into our dish, braising dish, I'm going to add a generous tablespoon of refined oil. Okay, our oil is hot. Now into this, all we need to do is bung in our onions. Lovely. So our onions are now beginning to take on a nice light brown color. While that is happening, we are going to now take super hot and spicy hara masala. So hara masala into the pan. Couple of teaspoons of our garam masala. So I've turned up the heat. Now all I'm going to do is add a little bit of water. Yeah, like that. Whoa. You can see the oil now has begun to separate from the masala, which means our masala base is ready. All we need to do now, very, very simple, is add the lamb. So in goes the lamb. Just fry our pieces of mutton in our wonderful masala. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of water. Last but not the least, most important, namak. About a teaspoon. Mix it up. Right, so just turn your gas down to the barest possible simmer, put a lid on it and let that wonderful lamb simmer away for about 45 minutes to an hour, or till our lamb is nice and tender and beautiful. Ah, oh, it's got this rich, deep brown color, so reminiscent of a good mutton curry. Okay, time for us to taste the fruits of our labor. Always the best part. Wow, that mutton curry has turned out just the way I would have wanted it to. The lamb is so flavoursome, packed with that wonderful internal fat. It gives it a real rich, meaty flavour. And of course, the heat from that Warli garam masala and also our hara masala with those really hot, pungent green chilies.